A memorial is growing outside of White Plains Hospital. It's dedicated to hip-hop artist DMX, who died earlier today at that hospital just days after being placed on life support. New York One's Amy Yancey joins us this evening from Westchester County. Amy.
Hi, Dean. You can hear the music going on, DMX songs being played back to back to back. His supporters, his fans, his fellow Rough Riders have been out here listening to his music and sharing anecdotes about him and throwing up the X sign in his memory. They had been here for days, for a week actually, hoping and praying that he would pull through. DMX had been on life support after he was brought here last Friday. He had suffered a heart attack, and today, hours ago, we got word that sadly he did not make it. Now, DMX's real name was Earl Simmons. He was 50 years old, born in Mount Vernon, but raised in Yonkers. But he spent a lot of time in the Bronx and had a lot of friends there, so close ties to New York City. But a prominent figure in the 1990s for hip-hop music. He also was in a few movies and very well known. His iconic barking sound and his deep raspy voice are what fans really liked about him. You'll hear a lot of talk about his struggles with substance abuse and that sort of thing, but DMX was never shy about that. He was very open and honest about his struggles with that. He had a very rough childhood, spent time in an orphanage, and he had a lot of struggles, but he put a lot of that into his music and was very raw and honest, and that's why fans really are sad today. We spoke to some of them outside of White Plains Hospital, and they talked about what they're feeling after finding out that DMX has died.
I used to rap in the mirror. I thought I was X. He's such an inspiration to the rap game. You know, I feel like he's like the backbone of hip hop.
I came down here from Yonkers. I took a little 20-minute drive by myself, get my mind, ease my mind, because a lot of things he spoke in his music I could relate to.
I'm very sad. He's one of the guys that came from the hood, that made it pave the way for other black men to be in the rap game.
Dean, and if there's one song that we keep hearing out here, it is the Rough Riders anthem, and it'd be amiss for me not to point out the big motorcycle behind me, because DMX was very much a fan of motorcycles and riding them, and he made that very popular. So people here are focusing on his contributions to music, and Earl Simmons, the man, outside of White Plains Hospital. A sad day for hip-hop, but they are trying to stay positive and think about the fun memories they had with the rapper, but also the person. That's the very latest from here in White Plains. Amy Yancey, back to you.
Yeah, Amy, you mentioned that motorcycle there. He was infatuated with motorcycles as well as dogs. He always had dogs around him, and he would bark in his music. But talk about the situation there in White Plains, because that is right outside of the hospital, and I know there was some concerns earlier this week about there are others recovering in the hospital. Has the crowd been respectful of the folks in the hospital? Because I know they've been trying to work that out with the family.
Dean, just to jump on that, specifically pit bull dogs. Those were the dogs that you would always see him. He would be photographed with them and that sort of stuff. But I can say that the crowd here has been pretty much sticking to the sidewalk and the street across the street from the hospital. And though they've been listening to music, it hasn't been like blasting very loudly. And they've been dancing, but it hasn't spilled all the way out into the street completely. So even though traffic has kind of slowed down around here as people honk the horn and look at the memorial and shout out to the crowd that's here, it's still moving along. So I don't think it's as big as a disturbance as you would think, because the crowd size is actually not that large. It's just that the people that are here are so passionate about DMX that it might seem that way.
All right. Amy Yancey, thank you so much.